Okay. So yes, the bookkeeping, a lot of times when we're working with people on getting funded, that's sort of like the baseline piece that a lot of people are missing. And it's the piece that holds up a lot of people from being able to get funded because you don't have that part together. And so with you being the finance lady, that's why I asked the question about, do you do bookkeeping? Because I know there are a lot of people who need that service. And it's just one of those things that a lot of people try to do themselves, but most of us, if you're not a numbers person, and I'm okay with numbers, but I'll even say for myself, for years I did it for us, and then I gladly handed it over to our bookkeeper because I was like, okay, this is too much for me and I'm not keeping up with it. And that's the thing, like you can get it started, but a lot of times you don't keep up with it. And so like twice a year, you want to dive in and try to throw all these numbers in and, hope on a wing and a prayer that everything turns out right. And so it's one of those things that I always suggest to people. If you're going to pay for something first, don't let that be the last thing on your list. Make that one of the earlier things that you pay for.
Absolutely. I agree. Yes, for the tax office that I work in currently, they do offer bookkeeping services. So I'm just in the process of absorbing all of the
Mm-hmm.
information I can, and in the process of transitioning to being independent.
Okay.
Like, I've been working for them for 6 years, and I just see that there's so much opportunity in it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
uh, but it's a very wonderful company. But I do like taxes independently on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And the insurance is totally just independent. That has nothing to do with H&R Block. So um, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome.
Bookkeeping is certainly something that I am capable of and have already begun research on starting my own bookkeeping company.
Okay. Good, good. So, and just make sure, just as we go through, to drop your name, the name of your business in the chat and what it is that you do, just so other people, whether they're on the replay with this, because you never know who's, looking at it. So whether they jump on today or they're looking at the replay, because we send it out, that people can see the services that you offer. All right, Wendy, you want to um, do a quick introduction for yourself, and then I'll be ready to start.
Okay. Yep. I am Wendy Featherston, and I am the other um, partner in Good Karma Enterprises um, and Good Karma Funding. And above all of that, I am a Reiki master, an artist, um, a chef. I'm just a fun girl. I like to have way more fun all the time. Um, and I don't think Dr. Tanya mentioned that we also do funding for women, Black-owned women businesses as well.
So yes, I'll go back and do just another brief introduction now that we started the recording. So as Wendy said, she's Wendy, I'm Dr. Tanya Featherston, and we are the owners of Good Karma Enterprises. And Good Karma is an organization, it's a consulting and training organization that provides training and consulting in two areas. The first area that we're mostly going to be talking about today is the business development and organizational development area. So we do work with you in your business around getting funded for the business, the setup of the business. So there are entrepreneurs that we work with that just have a business idea, and you know that there's something, you have a burning desire to do something, you're not sure where to get started. We specialize in that piece and sort of helping you to be able to take that idea and move it into action, move it into fruition so that you can develop the type of business that you're looking to have. So whether it is that you just want to start sort of a side project and you want to keep your full-time job and then do your business a little bit on the side, or whether you've been sort of doing that side hustling piece for a while and now you're ready to scale your business up into a full-scale business where it becomes your primary source of income. Either end of the spectrum that you're on, we really specialize in working with women in particular, and specifically Black women, around doing just that with their businesses. So if it is, you looking at the setup of your business and the foundational pieces of it and what it is that you need to make sure that you have a very strong foundation for your business so that it lasts. So our goal really is to help you create a company that can stand on its own, that no longer needs your personal resources to move that company along, but that it is a company that is providing you with an income, and it is a solid, stable company that stands on its own and that is capable of receiving funding. So today, in this particular workshop, we're going to talk about Girl, Get Your Business Funded. So the amount of money that's out there around everywhere right now for your business. And for many of us, we're not tapping into those sources. And so we wanted to come and do a series of workshops. So this is the first one. We're going to do a series of workshops around different avenues of funding, what's available out there, how you can get started looking into some of those sources and tapping into those sources. So I am going to share my screen. As I find it. All right, so in this workshop today, again, we're going to talk about 8 different ways that you can access other people's money in order to fund and grow your business. So whether you're at startup, so either way works, whether you're at startup or whether you are, you've had your business for a while and you are looking to expand or grow that business. So either of those applies. So let me look at one more thing. I'm moving things around on my screen so I can see. There we go. Okay. All right, so those 8 ways that we're going to talk about today. The first way that we're going to talk about, and I'm sure you have heard lots of people these days talking about business grants that are out there. There have been lots of different grants that have come along over the last 2 years that we have been dealing with COVID-19. There's been just a slew of things that have come along. And so we're going to talk about some of those opportunities. They're still there. So some of them have gone away, but new ones have come along. Others have continued. And so we're going to talk about those today. Fellowships, being able to get a fellowship to do the work that you want to do in your organization. And you can do that as a for-profit and not just a nonprofit. Crowdfunding is the third way we're going to talk about, which is also a popular way of gathering funds for your business today. Pitch competitions are definitely becoming more popular now, and more people are starting to pitch their businesses for venture capital and for people who want to sort of buy into the equity of your business, or the dream even of your business sometime before you even have equity to sell. The fifth one is vendor trade lines. So getting started at this is sort of the most basic of just being able to establish some really basic credit for your business so that you can purchase the goods that you need to use either to create something or things that you turn around and sell retail, and being able to purchase those in a net 30, net 60, or net 90-day capacity. Micro loans, which are very small loans, usually under $50,000 that you can get for your business, either startup or an existing business. Then larger business loans, and then the last one is business lines of credit. So we're going to start out first with talking about grants for small businesses. So a lot of people, really believe that you can only get grants if you are a for-profit organization. And that is totally not true. You can get grants as a small business. And so there are lots of grants out there for-profit businesses that you can apply for. So right now, particularly in the season that we're in, there are a large number of grants. If you start to do Google searches and things like that, you will see grants that are specifically for women-owned businesses. So a lot of companies and corporations are seeking to really give a leg up and a hand up to women-owned businesses, also minority-owned businesses. So you will see some that are, very specific to Black-owned businesses, to Hispanic-owned businesses. There was just, I think, 2 weeks ago where I saw a grant that was out for just specifically Asian and Hawaiian people that it was for. So again, people are getting very specific about, wanting to support a certain type of business. That third group is also Black women-owned businesses. So there are some, and actually a lot of them that are growing. Because one of the things that people have, researched and sort of looked at the numbers to see that Black women, we are the group that are starting the largest number of businesses. So our number of businesses that we are opening is skyrocketing, and it has been for probably about like the last 5 years. But one of the things that, we might be that largest growing group, but we tend to be the least funded of those groups of businesses that are out there. And so a lot of companies are noticing that, wow, Black women we're being innovative, we're starting new businesses, we're really getting out there as entrepreneurs, but we don't have the funding that we need. And so there are organizations that are looking to help us to get the funding that we need. And so we want to be on the lookout and sort of keep our radar up for those businesses who are really trying to help us. So one of the grants, and with the grants that you can apply for, the process is pretty simple. In next week's workshop, we're actually going to dig deeper into just applying for grants for small businesses and what it is that we need to do to be able to make sure that we're set up and ready to receive that type of funding. So we're going to go deep next week, but this week I wanted to just give you 2 examples to show you just how easy it can be to apply for a small business grant and the different sort of levels and types of grants that are there. So 2 that I know that are available right now that you could apply for. And if you have a laptop with you, you can actually go for this one and literally look at it right there with me and apply for it at the same time right now on your laptop. So it's a company called Galaxy of Stars, and Galaxy of Stars is a company where they are seeking to help a lot of minority business owners. And so they have a grant. They're a 501c3 organization, but they have a grant that's out for in keeping with their mission to help minority and women entrepreneurs succeed. And so the grant this go around, it was a little less last year, but they've increased it this year. So it's a $3,750 grant that you can get, and it's the most basic. I've filled out a lot of grant applications, all the way from simple ones like this, all the way up to large federal types of grant applications. And this particular one is probably the easiest I've ever seen. And so I'm going to go to it, and let's see if we can, see if I can get to it. And then I'll show you just how simple it is to be able to start it. So the Galaxy of Stars, you go to this webpage and you can make sure you're going to get a copy of the replay for this, but you can also just write down the URL right quick. So it's galaxyofstars.org/galaxy-grants. And so here it is. It's a $3750 grant for your minority business. So one of the things that you have to look at, one, of course, is
I'm sorry, you clicked on it, but
you can't see it.
No, we can't see it. Just the slide is still
okay.
So
I
think you have to stop sharing.
Yep.
And then, yep.
Hold on. Thanks for letting me know.
You're welcome.
Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so here it is, Galaxy of Stars. So it's $3,750 for the grant for your minority business. The things that you need to make sure that you look for is just, one, is it can nonprofit or for-profit organizations apply for it? So this one definitely, because it is for small businesses, then you're eligible for it. The other thing that you need to make sure you look for, of course, is the date as to when it's going to close. So this one is currently still open. And you can scroll down through their thing. Now, the thing I like about this one is, again, it says it only takes 30 seconds to enter, and it really does. Like, they are just seeking to give $3,700 to different businesses, and they're not really seeking to have you do a whole lot to get that money. So you got to have your email address, of course, your email address, your first and last name, zip code. So they want to know where you are, whether you are a male or female business owner, and you can even choose with that one. You can say you prefer not to say if you don't want to specify your gender, your ethnicity. So they have a drop down box for that. And then your business status is the last one. So they want to know, are you just sort of thinking about a business? You want to start a business, maybe you have an idea, or you currently have a business. And so then with that, then you click to accept the terms and conditions, and then you submit to be entered into the grant. That's pretty much all there is to it. Now, we've already entered this one, but I'm going to enter again just so you can see. We're going to do Wendy's. So Linda Jones. 21227.
And so the reason she's putting in our Maryland zip code is because we have our business originating in Maryland, and now we're registered to do business here in Hawaii.
Right. And so because we will be opening up a full office here, then at some point we could use either or. But for right now, we'll continue to click Maryland. So ethnicity, business status, currently have a business. Right. So you see, and literally it really is 30 seconds that this takes for you to be able to apply. You submit. And then that's it. Application is submitted. And so this is one which shows you, again, if you know where to look, then grants like these can be super, super easy to get. And let's see, I think they have a spot where they show you, and there's like people who have, and some of the things for some organizations, you do have to do a little research, do your due diligence to figure out kind of who they are. But you have, other entrepreneurs that we definitely know, Damon John, who has given this particular grant an endorsement. So that, there's some legitimacy to it and to them wanting to support other entrepreneurs. The other thing that I like about this is that they actually, some grants, you kind of never know who wins the thing. But the thing that I like about Galaxy of Stars is that they actually put up, who their winners are. So who some of their past winners have been. And so here's, a young woman who wanted to start a Mexican food restaurant. And so she received, and it's probably last year's because it was $2,500 last year, their grant for that. There was someone else, Evelyn from Houston, who she said she wanted to use it to purchase marketing supplies, which will also allow her to grow her massage company with less stress. So again, you have, everyday ordinary people. So sometimes we think with some of these grants, it's like, oh, I'll never win or I'll never get that particular grant. But what I always say to people is you never know if you don't actually try, if you don't actually go after that particular grant. So let me switch over again. So that's one. That one was super simple to do. Again, literally only takes 30 seconds. So there are some of those. And then, of course, it scales up from there. And there's a lot more information at times that you're going to need to know. So the second one that I want to give you, and I know its deadline is October 26th. And I know of a couple of colleagues who have gotten the $10,000 grant, and it should say $10,000. That should be a dollar sign, not a 4, to take your business to the next level, and that's through NAV. And so I'm going to click and do a new share. Let's see. Okay, if you can't see it, let me know. So NAV is an organization that helps you with establishing your business credit. And it gives you a way. NAV is a company that we use to be able to look at what your business credit score is so that you can keep up. So the same way that you need to be able to keep up with your personal credit score, and you use Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Well, NAV is a company where it allows you to be able to track and keep up with your business credit report and your business credit scores from the different organizations that provide business credit scores. And so they have been, for the last 2 years at least, working with small businesses as well to help them sort of build that foundation and to help them increase their working capital for their business using this $10,000 grant. So this particular entry started on September 21st, and they go all the way through October 26th. So that is just Tuesday. So with this one, you have to make sure you get your stuff in by Tuesday in order to get in for this last round of theirs for this year. So let's go down and see what they require. So be a NAV customer or sign up for the free NAV account in order to be able to do that, to get into it. And so their account is free. Their very basic account for you to be able to track your business credit report is totally free. So that's easy to sign up for. Then after you've done that, their second step is just to fill out this form. And so same type of information: name, business name, email account, what state you're located in. Theirs, though, ask you a couple of questions. So the question that it wants you to answer is, if I win $10,000 for my business, I will spend it on. So what I say is, for all of these grants, for any of the funding that we're talking about today, you really need to know, what do you need this money for? So sometimes we think about, oh, I need money. I just need money for my business. I need working capital, and that's okay. Working capital for what? Is it more supplies you want to buy? Do you want to be able to hire some people to be able to help you with some certain things, some independent contractors? Is equipment that you need? Is it a vehicle? What is it that you're looking for the money for in the business? Because almost every funding source that I'm going to talk about today, they're going to want to know, what are you going to do with this business or with this money? How are you going to use this money to be able to grow your business? So they want that, just a short little blurb about what you're going to do with it. Social media profile links. These days, you definitely need social media pages for your business. At most basic, Facebook business page, so that you can send people to it when they require social media links. But you could also have Instagram and many of the others, but I always say at least one where you've kept it update and they can look at it real quick and know that you're keeping the information up to date about your business. And then the second one is, if I win $5,000, I'll use the money too. So they have an option for you to be able to win not just 10, but $5,000. So then after that, you submit it. So again, very simple, very quick to be able to do. And then they ask you to do a third thing, because social media has become so critically important for all of us. Then they're asking you to post on your business's Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn account to just include a small business grant or hashtag small business grant in your entry, and then the following information. So they, again, are very specific about what they want you to do. So what does your business do? A challenge your business has overcome in the past, and a challenge that you continue to struggle with, how the grant funds will help you overcome your challenge, and detailed specifics as to how you plan to use the prize money. And then they said, share a unique voting link. So they've added, last year they didn't have this piece, but this year I see they've added sort of a voting link. And a lot of grants from companies are doing this, where they're asking you to vote, have people share your link and vote for you. And so, of course, the more votes you get, then the more likely they are to sort of take a closer look at your application, and be able to narrow it down. And so they tell you to continue to encourage your followers and customers to vote for your business with your unique voting link. The votes will be used to narrow down the top 200. So you got to think, with these things, they get thousands of entries, hundreds of thousands, probably for some of these grants, of entries. And so they're using this as a method to help them narrow down 200. And then they're going to choose between those 200, because it's really hard for them to look at that many different people who apply. So again, if you have a following, get your friends, family, those kinds of people to jump in and to just vote for you, so that you can be in this next round for NAV. And like I said, I do know of a colleague of mine who has actually gotten this particular grant from NAV. So that's two examples right there that are very easy. And what I always like to say is there's money all around us. We just have to start paying attention and really start looking at it. And so the small business grants are definitely there. There's lots of information. Lots of people are sharing information. And at the end of this, I'm going to share with you a resource that we have too. I often share information, so just make sure you could stay connected with us. And then as often as I know about these grants that come through, then I tend to share them with people as well. So the next one is fellowships. Fellowships are different. So grants is free money. You don't have to pay it back. Fellowships is the very same way, but it's usually done in a stipend that you're paid to develop your project or start or grow your business. And so with fellowships, I received a fellowship years ago to get started in business when I was leaving. I wanted to leave the school arena and get into my own nonprofit at the time. And so I received a $30,000 fellowship to help me for a 16-month period to be able to do nothing but work on establishing this business and that particular project that I was working on. And so it was the first time I ever received one. I received it because someone else told me about it, and they knew that I had left my job and started working on this project that I was really passionate about with no money. And I was using my personal savings to be able to live and to work on this project. And someone came to me and said, hey, why don't you apply for this fellowship? They'll pay you to be able to do what you do. You don't have to use your savings, and you can use them to get additional support around growing your business, which is what I did. So the Open Society Institute Fellowship in Baltimore was the one that I ended up getting. But there are lots of these fellowships out there now, particularly for Black women who are wanting to start up businesses. There are lots of companies who are saying, hey, we'll offer fellowships, and we'll not only give you money to be able to work on this project, but we'll also give you some business support to be able to do that. So the couple that I listed here for you today are the Tory Burch Foundation Fellowship. And that particular one, I believe, is around people who have an interest in doing something related to the fashion industry, or I think makeup, jewelry, that type of thing. Then that's the one for Tory Burch that's open currently. The Global Good Fund Fellowship is another one. So again, they're looking for, it's more like social entrepreneurship. So if you have a program, I know there are some people that I've been chatting with that have been wanting to open up like youth programs and things like that. If that's the case, the Global Good Fund, if you're doing anything sort of educational, helping people, helping disenfranchised communities, those kinds of things, then the Global Good Fund is a great one, and they offer a fellowship to kind of help you move that project along. And then the last one that's up here is the Freed Fellowship, which is the same type of thing where they're looking for new entrepreneurs who, again, you have an exciting idea, you're passionate about, some aspect of your business that you're currently doing, and you need an opportunity to be able to possibly make that bridge. Fellowships are really good. And again, I gave this as myself as an example, but when you're ready to move from doing sort of, I'm working full time and I'm also doing my business part time, and I'm sort of side hustling, And when you're ready to make that bridge between or from full-time work to full-time entrepreneur, a fellowship is a great way. It's a great bridge type of money to get you over to the other side, so that you're not just quitting your job and trying to figure out how am I going to make ends meet now and putting all that pressure on yourself. The fellowship allows you to be able to do that in a little bit more comfortable fashion so that you can really have some good focus on your business. So then the next one, crowdfunding. Crowdfunding has become extremely popular. And so crowdfunding is when you are gathering funds together from people in your community, people that you know, people online that you get to know, in order to be able to sort of push your business forward. So Fundly is one of those, and we may click on Fundly real quick. Most people know about GoFundMe. That's a very popular one that we tend to have, that everybody tends to know about. But there are many others. Let's see. Oh, let me see if I can fix it. Let's see. There we go. Try again. If I can get it to open up. There we go. That's where we want to be. So Fundly is another one that's come after GoFundMe. So, you know, people use GoFundMe's for everything. And for many of these crowdfunding things, you would be surprised just what you can use it for. So many of them offer their services to individuals as well as charities. So you do not have to be just a 501c3 to be able to use organizations like GoFundMe and Fundly. So you can come in here, you can start your fundraiser. There's no startup fees and there are no hidden fees. So I know people who have used platforms like Fundly. I give the example of my nephew who was starting a pop-up food shop. And so he used, I believe we used either Fundly or GoFundMe for him to get the initial money that he needed to be able to buy some equipment and things like that for his business. So it's designed to do good. It's designed to help you be able to start a campaign. And so you see here, there are lots of people. Someone started a disaster relief campaign in Philadelphia. Here's one for a school or educational purposes. And you see how it runs the range. You have this religious organization who has started one that they've raised $216,000 already. This one in the middle is $54,000, all the way down to $2,700. And it really does, you know, it can be for lots of different things. So creative projects that you have. If you're in business and there's some special event that you want to be able to put on. I know there are some people that we're working with that they want to do different types of events for people here on the island. Then there are definitely crowdfunding things that you can do. So Healing the Healers, Black Mental Health Wellness Weekend. So this person just wanted to do a Black Mental Health Wellness Weekend. And so they came on Fundly. They're in Chicago. They put their event up there and they're 79% of the way through with getting funded what it is that they need. And so we're going to actually, let's see if we can click on this one and see what it's about. We might have to do the donate part, which we can do and see. So it says your donation will make a difference, enter the amount. So you can enter the amount. So you see how it works for other people. So then people just come through here and they make their donation, the donation that they want to make to you in the dollar amount. But this just requires you setting it up and then you spreading the word and getting your friends to spread the word. So again, this is a weekend conference that's happening November 13th and 14th. 19 people have donated. So only 19 people have donated and she's already got $7,800 for this particular event. And so it says, we're raising funds to provide a free mental health wellness virtual retreat and conference for Black healers who continue to support the well-being of our community. And I think that's a great idea. So she wants, for those people who are going out, and helping everybody else in the community, then she has decided she wants to put on something for them. So you see, again, you fill in, the different amounts, the different donation levels. So she has levels where you can donate. There's a $250 level, which is bronze. There's the $500 level, which is her silver level. And then she has a $1,000 gold and a $5,000 platinum level. So again, it doesn't take a whole lot to be able to set up projects like this. And so crowdfunding is really easy. It's inexpensive, doesn't cost you a whole lot to be able to set that up. So you have Fundly, GoFundMe, Kickstarter, Patreon, if you're big into doing Facebook Lives or doing YouTube Lives and things like that. A lot of people are using Patreon now for that. And Start Some Good is another organization. So these are just 5 examples that I gave you. There are lots more examples, but I wanted to choose ones that were really simple and easy for you to be able to start if crowdfunding is the way you want to go to develop more funds for your business. So pitch competitions, now we're leveling up and it's getting a little tougher. Pitch competitions are where contests, again, where you enter as an entrepreneur, you present your business concept to a panel of people in the hopes of winning a cash prize or an investment from that organization. So pitch competitions, I gave you 3 examples. Founders Live does one, I think a couple of times every year. Startup Fuel does the same thing. But pitch competitions tend to be pretty intense. So you've really got to make sure you have a pitch deck or a PowerPoint presentation ready that you can really explain your business and what it does in a very short and succinct amount of time. So you usually don't have a lot of time to do your pitch. So it's something that you need to practice in advance because you're going to have to do it live. And most of them now are done via Zoom. So again, it's another option though. And when you're doing pitch competitions, you're usually pitching your business for larger amounts of money. So now you're talking about, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're asking these investors for to believe in your business and to help you sort of grow your business. So now we're down to sort of different areas of business credit where you can leverage your business to get other people's money through some form of credit. So vendor trade lines. So we've all seen, all the YouTube videos and different things about developing business credit and getting credit accounts. So the very basic of that is that, if you provide a particular service, and let's say, with us doing training, when we were doing training live, we use different supplies and things like that. And so some of the vendors that we use are like Crown Office Supply. We use Office Depot, Office Max, because we were going there to get various things for our training. We use Walmart, we use Sam's Club. So they're the food for training and things like that. If you're doing events and things like that, then you're gonna need to buy some items for those particular events that you're doing. If you're creating a product, I know there are a lot of sister CEOs that make natural products. And so if you're making different types of body butters, and if you're making different types of essential oils, face creams, all of those kinds of things, then the people that you are buying your products from, so say you get your essential oils from someone, but then you're making essential oil sprays with those oils and you're making different combinations, then look at the vendor that you are buying those essential oils from, because rather than paying right then with your credit card, the idea with vendor trade lines is that you have an account with them, you have a credit account with them, so that you can go in, you can type up your order, you can hit order, they'll ship it to you, and then you don't have to actually pay for those items until 30 days later. If you are a person who sells a particular good and it's something that you're creating, that can be helpful for you, because now you've been able to make up a batch of your essential oil sprays. You can take them to the farmer's market, you can sell them, and then you can use the money that you get off of them to then pay off what you needed to put out up front to make those sprays. So that way it keeps you with a continuous cash flow, because that's the big thing about business, is it's all about cash flow. You need to be able to have a continuous amount of cash flowing in and out of your business in order for your business to stay healthy and stay profitable. And so having these types of vendor trade lines keeps you from having to just spend all your money up front and then hope and cross your fingers that you're going to get that money back. So it's a much better way of doing business. And these are just 4 easy vendors, but you can work up vendor trade lines to be with all of the vendors. Amazon, again, I said Walmart, Sam's Club, Costco, any of the vendors that you have, you can look into whether or not they offer vendor trade lines or not. So that's one way. That's the first way to kind of the most basic way to get started with business credit. Then the next thing is microloans. And microloans are, again, under $50,000 and under loans that you can get from, sometimes they're nonprofit community development organizations that will offer you these loans. The SBA will offer these loans. And then sometimes there are alternative funders or independent companies that will offer these loans as well. So the SBA has a microloan program, and you can go to their site, and then they have specific lenders that they have a list of that you can go to in your particular area. So if you're going to go through the SBA portion, you have to do the lender that's in your particular area. So they have a list of lenders here in Hawaii that do the SBA microloans. But you can go outside of SBA and you can go, Kiva is a good example, and the Lift Fund. They are both, actually the last 3 are, I'm very familiar with. Kiva, the Lift Fund, and the Opportunity Fund are great micro lenders that will lend you, again, sometimes it may be just $10,000 that you need to kind of get things moving and get things started if you're starting up a business, or it may be $10,000 that you need to expand on a particular project, or to do, a specific event if you're doing vendor type things at events. And so you can end up getting that micro loan from them in order to be able to expand your organization. The one thing I will say about microloans is you've got to have all of your business paperwork together. You're at a level with this where it's not simple like the grant application, where they're going to want to look at your financials over the last at least 1 year, if not the last 2 or 3, depending on how long your business has been in existence. They're going to want to know, is your business set up properly as an LLC? Do you have here in Hawaii, do you have, your get tax license? Do you have all the things that you're supposed to have to be legitimately set up as a business? Do you have a business address, email, phone number? Is your business listed? Do you have the social media pages? Do you have a business bank account? So all of that foundational stuff you're going to need before you get to this micro loan type of money, so that you have the foundation set up for it. And the same thing goes for all the rest of the last couple that I'm going to talk about. Business lines of credit, same type of thing. It's similar to a loan, but it's a line of credit that just sits there, and it's available for you whenever you get ready to use it. And you can use as little or as much of it as you want. So let's say you get a $30,000 business line of credit, then that money is there. You don't have to use all 30. With a loan, they give you the entire thing, and then you got to pay the loan back. With a business line of credit, the money is there, it's accessible, it's available, and then you tap into it when you need to, which is one of the higher forms of using other people's money. And this is one of the areas where our organization, Good Karma, helps entrepreneurs be able to get yourself ready for this type of funding. So you definitely have to make sure that you've got all your ducks in a row, that you've got all of your business stuff together. It's very tight when you get into these areas of accessing funding. And so then business loans. So being able to get larger amounts of money, then, because with business lines of credit, you might get 30,000, 50,000, maybe even 100,000 for a business line of credit. But for business loans, now you're talking about much larger amounts of money. And so these loans are usually for if you're going to grow and scale a business, if you're buying real estate, buying equipment, doing those kinds of things, and you need large amounts of money. So the options you have is SBA, but again, it's very paperwork intensive. And we have done some help with people who are trying to get, again, all of their pieces together to do an SBA application. We have access to individual partners here at Good Karma that we partner with, that we've used personally. and that we have partnered with to connect other people to. But again, you got to have the paperwork together. You can go to traditional banks, which is a tough road to go a lot of times if you're a small minority entrepreneur. And then you have alternative funders. And sometimes with alternative funders, you can get the money a little bit easier, but of course, you're going to pay a higher interest rate for the alternative funders. All right, so that's kind of quick in a nutshell. And I wanted to keep these workshops fairly sort of short and succinct, so I wasn't giving you too much information. So we've gone over what the 8 types are. That grants is free money. It's all around you. It's everywhere. You just have to sort of know where to look, and then be on the lookout constantly. Fellowship, same thing, free money. Crowdfunding, free money, but you've got to be able to leverage a community, get people to come in and to give you money and to donate to whatever it is that you're trying to do. Pitch competitions, again, free money, but very intense and competitive, hence the word competition. So you got to really prepare yourself for that. Then you have the 4 types of credit that you can get. So vendor trade lines, easier to get, still don't cost you anything most of the time. Some of them may have a setup fee. Micro loans, small loans, $50,000 and under. Business loans, those are $50,000 and up. And then business lines of credit. So I want to have some time, and we do have plenty of time for Q&A. So I'm going to go through with just sort of next steps. We're going to do these workshops. I'm probably going to do like 2 a month for the rest of this year. I'm just going to cover different topics as we do them. But to keep up with information, so my thing and my jam is I go figure out who's doing what are they talking about, what are they offering, is it relevant to us as Black women entrepreneurs, and then getting that information out to you. So I encourage you to join the Black Women Entrepreneurs Academy Facebook group, because I'll put information in there, as well as, and that'll get you on our email list too, or this gets you on our email list, so that, you know, I can help you to stay up on what's happening as far as funding that's available for us. We have a second thing. If you're really ready for a deep dive on your business, we started here. We've done it before in Maryland, but now we want to do it here in Hawaii. And that is a quarterly business accelerator circle. So the Sister CEO circle. So if you have an interest in that, then there it is. The Sister CEO circle, our first one here in Hawaii, is going to be November 5th. And it's a full day where you come and you take out time to really work on your business, so work in your business. So what we do often as entrepreneurs is we're so busy working everywhere, and we're trying to sort of work and keep up with everything, and we don't take out sort of some clear, very intentional time to work on the business, to work on growing the business, and not work in the business. So this is what that time is, and it's once a quarter for us. And this is a great time because it's the end of this quarter for 2021. We're going into 2022. And so you really should be planning now for the business growth and profit that you want for 2022. You don't plan for 2022 once it gets here. So we have, you know, roughly 2.5 months of this quarter left. And so it's a good time to get together. But sometimes when we plan by ourselves, we don't have the power and leverage of other people and sort of their know-how and that just collective growth that we can have together as a group. And so that's what the Sister CEO Circle is all about, is you having a collective group of people that you can not only leverage on that one day, but you can leverage throughout the year. So every day in between each quarter. So we meet once a quarter, but in between, you'll get connected with a business bestie, somebody that's going to be there with you to rock it out with you in a very close and intimate level, but you're also going to have access to the rest of the women in the circle. So if you need something, whether it's just, you know, support and cheering on, or whether you need strategy, whether you need somebody to help you spread the word about something, all those things, but that's what we'll be there for. So definitely check out the Sister CEO Circle. Strategy sessions are available with me if you want to just get clear on what it is that you're doing. It's a very short period of time, though. It's only 45 minutes, but that's available as well. And then we have with the grant piece, and I'll talk more about this next week too, but we have a service called Grant Share, where we send out every week or text message blasts about grants that are available and coming up. So I have a team of people that are constantly digging and researching grants, and then they put up all the ones that they find. And then for those people who join Grant Share, you get a text message every week with at least, most of the time it's at least 4 grants per week that are potentially available. So joining the community, having a community of people is critically important for you, because one, it gives you access to information that you might not know. It helps you with strategy. It helps you with building a strategy for how you're going to grow your business, because it's not just going to grow by itself, but you need to have a clear strategy for doing it. It helps you with knowledge. Most of the time, businesses fail because of what people don't know. And so getting the knowledge that you need to be able to grow it, and then coaching. And I have my own personal coach. Actually, I have a couple with business. And so I suggest that everyone else does as well, that you need, someone that you can access and leverage. And so there are 2 ways that we have that you can do it if you choose to do it with us. And that's the Black Women Entrepreneurs Academy, which is the Facebook group, and then the Sister CEO Circle, which meets here in Hawaii. So I am going to stop sharing. And since we are down towards the end, Naja, are there any questions that you might have around just growing your business, getting any funding for your business, looking for grants, looking for any other opportunities that might be out there?
Oh, yes, absolutely. First, I just want to tell you, thank you for such amazing information. I mean, I've learned so much. I kind of feel like, oh, wow, there's a lot that I didn't know that was available. So thank you for that. It was a lovely presentation, and I'm really excited about the information that you shared, because I'm like, oh, I don't have to do it all by myself. A question that I have is, me, like I said, I'm an independent insurance agent right now, but I just so happen to have tax and other financial service background. But a lot of the women that I work with, we came from the same agency, which has a FMO structure. So it's kind of like the network marketing. What type of resources are available for business owners in that type of space? I know we're kind of stepping away from that structure, but I do still know people that are in that type of structure that can definitely use assistance, with funding for different things.
Right. So the network marketing piece is a little tougher to navigate. You can definitely, what I always suggest to people who do network marketing, and Wendy can really speak a lot to network marketing because she's been involved in a number of different organizations that are set up similar to that, like the Pampered Chef and doTERRA, and different organizations like that. But when you're seeking larger funding, the thing that usually comes up when you're a part of network marketing is that companies will say, well, is it really your business? Because you know how the fee structure works with network marketing. And if it's set up similar to that, where you've got to bring other people in, and with the independent insurance agency piece, I'm not as sure. So I'm going to ask you coming up how it's structured. But when it's structured like that, that's always the question that comes up. So what I say to people is this: if you are in the network marketing industry and you've bought into someone's program, that's great. But then as an aside, on the other side, set up your own business as well. And then you can have the money and whatnot from that network marketing business fed into your LLC, if you will. And so that's kind of how I say people, because then you have like a very strong LLC that's set up on its own. And regardless of what happens with the network marketing side, you still have a business at the end of the day. So, you know, I'm going to let Wendy talk about it, but it's the same thing we do with Good Karma. Like Wendy's network marketing ventures have been a part of Good Karma, under the Good Karma umbrella, but they were, again, just, we treat them as like programs, if you will. They're programs under our LLC, but if she chooses not to do it, or whatever happens with it, like we still have a other business that we're doing in our organization. And so that way it looks like a strong whole business when you go for funding, and not just a network marketing business. So that's the short version of what I want to say about that. Wendy, you want to chime in?
Yes. So the thing about network marketing is it is not really your own business. Contrary to what they tell us, as Dr. Tanya said, I do participate in the Pampered Chef and doTERRA. More, that's just about oils, but I do actively buy and sell and utilize and have Pampered Chef parties, but Pampered Chef is not a business. It's not my own business. So anytime someone is sending you a check and then you didn't have to invoice them for it, then you are working for them essentially, right? Because all of the money goes to them and then they give you your percentage, versus you owning your own business. You invoice for your money and they give you all of the money. And then the business is not in your name. The business is generally pamperchef.com/Wendy Featherston or whatever, right? And so you don't own a business, so you cannot build a business using their name because you don't own their name. And they have a lot of strict guidelines around such. And even given to what Dr. Tanya said about creating a side business underneath of that one MLM, that's frowned upon in most.
Yeah, depending on the organization. That's why, not a side business, but a separate business.
Right. So you want a separate business. And then you also want to make sure that you are, like, you didn't sign a non-compete, and all of the stuff that you sign up with. Mm-hmm. When you sign up with them, they have a whole bunch of legal jargon and a whole bunch of forms that you're initialing and signing to. And it's really fine print, and like most people don't read, but there's generally a non-compete in there. And so you can't compete with them. So if you're wanting to start your own, you want, to separate. Like if I was going to sell kitchen gadgets, I would leave Pampered Chef because that's competition, right? I am their competition, or they would be my competition. So I don't want to do that to compete against them if that was what I was going to do. So yeah, that's the big thing. We generally do not. They tell you that you own your own business with them, but you do not. And because they're sending you a 1099, which is a contractor, a contractor IRS form, then yeah, no. So I hope that answers your question.
So Naja, with the company that you're using for the insurance, do they have like non-compete clauses and or do they have the deals where you can't have another business? Because I know we were working with somebody who was kind of surprised with the company that they were working with when they were like, oh, wait a minute, what do you mean I can't do another business? Like this has to be my only sole thing. And I think when she signed up for it, she didn't know that, but then it didn't come up later until she was on, I think, Facebook, promoting the other business, as when they were like, oh no, you can't do that. And so I've known people who have actually gotten shut down, like they shut down all their stuff all of a sudden, and they just weren't aware that that was even a rule. So with yours, do they have those kinds of rules where you can't have a separate thing?
Yes, that agency I'm actually no longer with. I'm just in the process of like terminating my agreement because I saw that that was something that they had. A lot of the women that I work with like also left that company. The new company that we're underneath, you're totally an independent agent. You're just using you're just using them as an umbrella. So essentially,
Okay.
like how you said, and then there are different programs, but you have the ability to establish like your own LLC or your own like business. You're just using the umbrella company as the I would just say as the relationship that they have with the certain carriers, but you're actually getting contracted with the carriers indivially. So
Okay.
yeah,
That is a
it's just
better
based on
setup.
your
So you're
own, yeah,
using
it's
them
based
for
on
the
your own
products.
license.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Then that is different. And so definitely a better situation to be under, because that way you're controlling what you do, and you can then add on whatever pieces to your business you want to add on. So like when we were talking earlier about the bookkeeping or whatever else you want to add on. So have you, in working with this new company that's providing you, or sort of being the bridge to the different insurance providers, have you set up your own LLC?
I'm in the process of establishing my own LLC. Like I have a GE tax number,
Okay.
and I've filed Schedule Cs. I just have, I guess, hesitated on doing an LLC because, for one, the tax, like the tax side of it, but then a lot of it boils down to just like, what do I want it to be called? What's the name? Like, I don't want it to kind of pigeonhole me in a certain thing. I want it to be something that's broad, to where if I choose two totally unrelated business activities, it can still just fall underneath that, instead of feeling like I have to have an individual one for each type of activity.
Right. And so what I always say to people with that is to really think about what kind of an impact you want to have, not the specific means you're using right now to give that impact. So like when I think about insurance and finances and things like that, then like things like Lifetime Legacy LLC, or something like that, because then that says, okay, you want to help people have like leave a legacy, like what has your sort of lifetime meant, you left this legacy, but how you do that is completely up to you. So that name kind of says one thing, but you could do it through finances and just teaching people how to better manage their money and that kind of stuff. You can do it through insurance, you could do it through investments, you could do it through all kinds of ways. Legacy, that could be something totally different other than finances. So it could be your commitment to the community, or you starting something that you leave behind business wise. Like it could be a lot of things. So what I always say is think about it from that perspective, and not just from, that's exactly what we did with Good Karma. Like when you say Good Karma Enterprises, that could be a lot of it means like it was our way of doing good in the world. That's what we wanted. Our whole thing was peace, love, and good karma. That's everywhere we go. That's kind of what we spread and sprinkle. And it's like, but what does that mean? Well, because there were two of us, it meant different things for, both of us. Because with Wendy, it was more of like the holistic healing and wellness stuff. For me, it was psychology at first and the sort of counseling and coaching piece, but then it, morphed into the business and showing people how I had been in business for almost 20 years for myself, like that kind of thing. So, and I've had a couple of name changes, so I understand where you're coming from with it. Whereas, originally we were branded Urban Education Services. So that pigeonholed me a lot, right? It pigeonholed me in the urban environment, and it pigeonholed me only with education. And so I had people who were buying from me, but they paused first because they were like, urban, well, but I'm not urban. I'm in, Utah, I'm in wherever. It's like, how do I? And I'm like, no, you can still buy. And so I found myself having to explain it too much. So I knew I was leaving money on the table because I had to explain my name too much, And so it made me go back and rethink. So you're right to pause and to go general, because, once you make that change, then you got to get a whole nother EIN. You got to do all that stuff. So it's almost like your business starts. It is like your business starts over. And so yeah, definitely. I mean, don't wait forever to choose your name, but think you're going in the right direction by thinking general and think global, think large scale, and then you can put whatever under that umbrella.
And one of the things that we tell people in coaching is start now, improve later, right? So not starting oftentimes keeps us from starting, right? And we drag our feet in, we don't have a business and we want it, but like you said, what's the name? And I don't know what to name it. Name it something, right? It's not a kid. It won't follow it for its whole life. You can change it, but like Dr. Tanya said, if you are more broad with it, then that's a good thing. But by all means, start now. And then you can also improve later by keeping the broad name, but then doing DBAs underneath of that name. Right?
Yep, absolutely. I did the reverse. That was my issue. I went real specific and then I needed to come back and go broad. And so if you're going broad first, then you can be specific. You can have 10, which most large companies do. Coke has 10, 20 different names up under Coca-Cola because they've branched out and did all these different versions, different juices and that kind of stuff. But
Juicy Juice, Mountain Dew,
right,
all
but
of
still,
those are
like
DBAs.
Yeah, but they just say, okay, I'm gonna attach it. Now I'm doing business as this name, as that name, and you just register those names for a very small amount. I mean, most of the time a DBA is like what, $15 or something like that. So it's as long as you have that umbrella LLC that's got that broader name, you can turn 20 different directions underneath it and still be fine.
Okay, and then I think my final question is for the Facebook groups, specifically the sister CEO, is that something that it's just you can join? Do you have to be invited into the group? Is there like any fees associated with it? Because it's definitely something that I want to share with some of the ladies that like I've worked with. They're primarily like Polynesian and Hawaiian ethnicity, but I do have a friend of mine that's also African American. I invited them, but I guess they got too occupied on their Sunday to actually attend. But I was like, this is good information. They missed out.
Well, hopefully they'll circle back around and hit the replay.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
And if they registered, they will get a copy of the replay.
Right.
But to answer your question, for the Sister CEO circle, there is an investment, right, into your business and into yourself. It's $300 per quarter. And what you get with that is a full day with other sister CEOs that all come together and work on your business, right? No matter where you are. So if you are wanting to have a brainstorming session with, a name, like it's really cool to see the way women connect, right? And when you don't have a name, I remember the last one we did in Maryland, the woman didn't have a name for a business. She didn't have a business. She just had an idea. And so she just was jotting down names, and then we wrote them down on separate pieces of paper and then randomly chose the names, and then we just all set with the name to see how it felt for her, and then whatever one resonated, and I think we all chose the name, but it was so organically done. So it is a nominal fee to pay $300 per quarter to come together to grow your business and to leverage the knowledge in the room. It is amazing to know tax people, right? So the way what we do is we like to help grow wealth in the community, right? And it's women of color, right? So
Right. So definitely
Polynesian,
are welcome.
Hawaiian, we're all the same, right? We all got the same story. We all the same. But to be able to know a tax lady that you have business right in the room, or someone who does logos, or someone who creates t-shirts or marketing, or whatever it is your specialty is, right? It's in the room. So we don't give away our business, but we support each other in business, and that's how we grow.
Right, both within the circle and outside of the circle. So
Right.
just like what I said at the beginning, for the ladies who are here in the circle, then our whole goal is to help you grow your business. So that's like the goal of the circle, is that by the time we're done, if you stick with it and you pay every quarter, so you don't have to pay like for all 4 quarters up front, each quarter that you participate, you pay for. If for some reason, 3rd quarter, you're like, life is crazy and I can't do whatever, then that's fine. You jump back in 4th quarter. So you go along. The idea is for you to be there all 4, so you can see the growth across, the entire year. But the goal is for by the time we get to the end of 2022, for all of us to be able to sit and look back and say, wow, we were here at the end of 2021, struggling with this, trying to figure this out, trying to do this. And now we're here and we solve like those problems. We're in a different space with this. We've grown this much. And so that's really the goal and the idea of it. And so, yes, we did business with each other, but we also then was like, hey, every time we had a business bestie some other place and we're like, hey, oh, you need a website. You've been struggling with a website for how long? And so at one of the circles, we sat and I built the website for the lady, like right there. I was like, okay, you like 8 months of struggling for a website is way too long. And okay, we're going to get you a simple 1-page website built today, so that you have a web presence and you can move on from that. You can always, it's just like Wendy said, start now, improve later. If you want, a shopping cart and all the 50 other things, we can get you that too. But right now, we're going to get you. And so within that 8 hours, like that's what she came for during that one. And that's what we got her by the time, she was done. So it really and it varies. It depends, some people are like, I'm at the edge of my rope and I've put all my money into this and I don't think I'm going to make it type of thing. And they, at that particular circle, that person just needed, some sort of real encouragement from us to be like, okay, is this really the right thing for you? And so it was, it's one of those kinds of things where we helped her work through, do you really want to do this? And do you want to stick with this? If you say you're in that space, maybe it's not the right time. And maybe you should go back to the world of work because we don't want you to be homeless, that kind of thing. Or do you want to dig in and let us help you come up with a strategy to make money? And so she chose dig in and come up with the strategy to make money. And so we're like, all right, we have this thing where we do we're like, money is all around you. You just have to look and see where it is. And so for her, we sat and we spent an hour with her looking around in her life and seeing where money was that she could access so that she could do the things she needed to do. And it was interesting. Everything from, you got like a ton of stuff in your house that you're not doing anything with that you need to sell. And so we're going to help you sell this stuff, to, leveraging other ways. But by the time, she was done, she'd come up with like, what, $10,000 of that was money around her that she just couldn't see because she was so, she was just so caught up in this is falling apart from me, and I gave it everything I had and it's not working type of thing. And sometimes you need other people to stand back and look at it, because it's hard for us to see it because we get tunnel vision. So the circle is like all of those, so you never really know what's going to happen. When you sign up for it, then I'll send you like a little 1-page form to kind of fill in that asks you like, what are you struggling with? What is it? What goals do you have? What is it that you want to achieve? So we kind of have some background information going in, but then really you choose like for that first circle, okay, what's the one thing I want to work on? You usually end up getting more than just that one thing, but you're like, okay, if I can really solve this pressing thing for me, I'll feel so much better about this, or I'll be able to move forward. And so we keep it small. So it's like 10 and under, because it's hard. Like when you get 15, 20 people, it's like, it's hard to do that kind of thing. And so it really is. So right now it's like 4 people where we're like, all right, we know we're going to have 4 people there. We'd love to move it up to, like I said, about 8 or 9. Because that's a good number where, we can all kind of leverage each other, but it does become a very sort of intimate kind of a thing.
And it's a building of sisterhood, right? And what we did maybe time before last was for new businesses, we had like business showers, where people gave things to start their business, right? One of my favorites was to give some credits to Facebook for Facebook marketing, right? That things that people don't think about, but they get some of everything, which I thought was really cute and really cool and fun for someone new to business. I know for like Deanna, she has a sunglass business. So then people got her different things to help support her in her sunglass or Sunday shades business, which was really cool.
Yeah. So we would love to have you join. And like I said, I'm excited to have you share it with the other women that you know as well. And hoping that they can join as well. So yeah, we're excited to get it started here, because we see the potential that it can have here on the island for women of color who are seeking to grow businesses.
And the fact that so many people say how hard it is to have business here or to start business, which I think is very bogus. You just have to know how and be connected to and have access to other people's money. And we are all about using other people's money.
Yep. And partnering with people. I think that was
with people.
One of the fun pieces too was like we came up with projects that we could collectively do together. And so, in meeting the other people, it was like, oh, well, you do this and this person does this. All right, well, maybe we could get together and, do some project together. So, and like I said, there's no end to the amount of things that you could possibly do once you have that group of really focused women, who are there trying to grow their business and help other people. All right.
Do you have anything else?
No, that was actually all of my questions for now. Thank you both for your time on this Sunday afternoon. I actually look forward to meeting both of you, hopefully in person.
Awesome.
Since we're here, on the island, I've actually been here for 2 years. And yeah, it's very encouraging for me to see, like, especially like Black women coming from other places and having that, I would say, ambition that is just common when you're from somewhere else. Like Los Angeles is super busy. Maryland is like another kind of hub for a lot of activity and professionals. So it's certainly something that I like to see in this space here in Hawaii. And I'm just excited for what's to come. And I would love to be a part of it.
Awesome. Well, we agree with you. We were looking for it. As soon as I got here, I was looking for it. And so was Wendy, and we were like, we don't really see it as much. And we're like, okay. And our thing is, if we don't see it, then all right, let's create it. Let's create that space for us to be able to get together, because lots of other cultures, you definitely see it here. You definitely see them business-wise getting together and leveraging each other. And so we for sure, need to do that too. And so I'm glad that you're excited about joining the space and seeing what we can do together.
Naja, where did you see the advertisement for this?
I believe I was on the Black Hawaii Facebook page.
Okay.
And somebody had put a post on there, and I was like, "Oh, this sounds like exactly like what I've been looking for." And I shared it with about 10 other ladies that were in the same insurance company that I was in. And yeah, none of them made it, but they definitely will. They'll get the update. I had a couple of friends register, so they'll get the update as well.
Awesome.
Well, thank you. It was I who put the
Wendy's all things social media for us.
it was I put it up. So thank you for that. And if you would kindly do a review about the workshop, I would greatly appreciate it on that page, just to let people know the value you received, if you would. So
Absolutely. I would love to. Thank you both for your time.
You are welcome.
I look forward to hearing from you guys again. My information I put inside of the chat.
I got it.
Also on Facebook, I won't say all of the time, more on Instagram, but I will certainly keep an eye out and share all of the information that I get here with the other people, so we can just get it going.
All right.
And you can also feel free to, when I drop the link for the next week's, you can actually copy the words and then snag the picture if you want to share it out to your other social media platforms. Please feel free to do so.
Will do. Thank you so much.
All right. You're welcome. We'll have a great rest of your Sunday.
On purpose.
All right. Take care.
Bye.